Hi guys, I'm here with Austin Hunt. I feel like we should have prepared more. I'm here with Austin Hunt at Cafe Benet in Long Beach, California. We have Nate on the camera.
Yo, what up, Nate?
Okay, so Austin, what kind of nomad are you?
Cool. So, I guess my style, because I think there's a few people do a bunch of different things when they're nomadic. I've been using my car, and I just drive to different cities, and I usually just stay at hostels and hotels primarily, and then so I guess my method has been traveling to cities and then staying as long as I kind of want to, and if I wake up in the morning, I'm like, you know what, like, I feel like I've experienced enough of the city and I want to kind of see a little bit more of the next thing, then I do, which is, you know, I'm feeling pretty grateful for that.
And so you studied acting, right?
I tried.
And then you got into SEO and web design, and then what do you do now?
Cool. So, what do I do now? It's a good question. I wake up in the morning. I eat mangoes with oatmeal. But as far as like job and whatnot, I started up a company called Moomark Design, and I sell websites and digital marketing and SEO. And then in addition to that, I also do blogging on human connection.
What got you interested in being like a nomad and traveling around in your car?
The thing is that I always wanted to like travel and have the freedom to do that. And I think it started a while ago, but I was talking with a friend, a different friend than you. I have a couple more. I have other friends. She kind of was traveling a bunch, and I reached out to her. I'm like, how are you able to do that? And she's like, traveling's not expensive.
Was that not me?
She's like, vacationing is expensive, but traveling is not any more expensive than living, and like living in one area. Matter of fact, for people who like live in Thailand or whatnot, it's actually cheaper. So something that I would like to share, so is like, hello. I traveled alone for 6 months. It's easy when you're traveling alone to feel lonely. So I'm okay with being alone, but I think part of what allows me to do that is I feel like I can go up to anyone and have a conversation. So for me, I guess that's why I don't mind being alone, is because I know that I can change it. I feel like loneliness happens when you really want to be around people, but you're not.
Yeah.
So I also have those times. And when I'm alone, I can either relish that, or I can change my environment, or I can change, I can provide the change in my world. So whenever I get lonely, I have two options. One, I can embrace it. If I do that, I'll probably just turn my phone on airplane mode and like listen to music. Or I can put myself out there. And I think that's the part that I feel like personally has provided a lot of value for me, is
Interesting.
I just have to be the one that does it, opposed to waiting for people.
For me, I think I can get lonely even around people unless there was a like really meaningful conversation that was satisfying, like where I felt like I connected to someone. I've definitely still experienced loneliness.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Really?
Right.
Okay, so you just need to like get some conversation
so
going.
something that I also do on that is,
Yeah.
I know for me, small talk just doesn't cut it. I just don't small talk. And
So that's what I was thinking, like maybe you're able to just jump into that meaningful conversation and make it happen.
Right, and that's the
Yeah.
thing is, I think you have to be the one that makes it happen.
Yeah.
And I'm always like conscious of other people's like. Actually, I really rely on people to tell me if they don't want to be in a conversation with me. And the
Sorry,
thing is,
Austin.
for me, I guess the thing that I've realized is that I have had really deep and meaningful conversations with some of my closest friends, and I can literally recycle those with people I've never met, because they've never had that conversation with me. And the other thing is, as long as I talk about something that I'm passionate about, and I really include someone, I think people really want to be in that type of energy. People want to be in an energy where someone's providing value and not taking things from them. So, I am super conscious of this now.
Yeah.
I think, or I'm very unconscious of this right now, which is if I feel like I need human connection, I know I am going to take from people. So I need to get myself right before I communicate with people. Or I need to just be honest, like, hey, right now I'm in this mode that I just am not feeling fulfilled, and then I'm not taking from people. So, but
I thought it's when you get lonely, then you go seek out people.
Right, Kind of.
Okay.
So let me get, so
Yeah,
if I'm
explain.
lonely, I realize initially I have the power to change that.
Okay.
I literally have friends I can call up on the
Yeah.
phone. Okay? Everyone in the world is interested in a good conversation as long as you provide value. Okay, that opens up the conversation for like what, 7 billion people? That's great. That means, but the thing is I'm not picky about who I will connect with.
Okay.
So I think a lot of times people will be like, I think it's more, you see this more in like dating life, is people will see someone that they're interested in at a bar, and they'll be like, I'm gonna spend 30, 40 minutes prepping myself mentally, and then I'm gonna get up to that point, and I'm gonna go talk to them, and it's gonna be great, but I'm not gonna talk to you, or you, or you, or you, and definitely not you, but I'm definitely gonna talk to you, and it's gonna take me 30 minutes to build up my courage to do that. And believe me, we've all been there, right? And so I just stopped believing in that. So now, because of that, what I think what ends up happening is because you picked off that you can only talk and connect with one person, you've limited yourself by like, let's say it's a bar and you find the person you're the most attracted to and there's 80 people in that bar. You say, tonight will only be successful if I connect with 1 out of 80 people. That's really fucking terrible odds. Like, what if that person's having a terrible day? Like, or what if they just literally think you're repulsive and they want to be around you? Or like, but what more often happens, I see, and I've experienced in my own life, is people wait 30 to 40 minutes to start connecting with this person. They go up and they build up all this anxiety, and like sometimes it's called approach anxiety. I don't like that, but like it is, right? You just have anxiety about talking with someone, and you're like, and you have a terrible conversation, which is very one-sided because what the energy the other person is picking up on is this, right? That's what they're picking up on. And so that's when it gets into that time of like, okay, now, and this is a conscious thing I have to think about. I get to a bar. Yeah, maybe I see that person, I'm like, damn. But I can acknowledge that and not limit myself with who I'm going to connect with that night. And so I get to the bar, and you know what I do? Bam, start a conversation with this person, start a conversation with that person. I am right now, let's say I'm just in a mode that I want to connect with people. That doesn't have to be that one person. And I think that's what it comes down to is that's where I need to check in. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling lonely. If I don't bring a positive energy, I'm just literally taking from people, and I don't like that.
Interesting.
So now on that, it doesn't mean I have to be happy. I think it just means I have to be authentic and not asking things of people. So let's say I'm doing really bad and I'm feeling lonely, and I'm in a social setting. It's also an opportunity to connect really deeply with someone by saying, "Hey, I'm really lonely right now." If you do it in the right way, or I'm just like, you know what, peace out. You really don't even have to talk to anyone about it. You can just leave. So that's an option. And find somewhere that you want to be. Maybe I'm feeling lonely right now because I am missing myself. And I think that's actually more common than people think, is that can be a possibility. Like, you're lonely because you haven't spent quality time with yourself. Like, every minute that I have on this planet, I feel like is a gift. And I'm so grateful for that. And I want to show that within the connections that I have with people. So I'm just like, boom, boom, boom. This is me. That's who I am, and I'm just going to connect with you. And I don't take things personally when people don't want to connect, because I used to, and sometimes if I'm having a really bad day, not even then, but like sometimes, I will be like, oh, like I did something wrong, and I think that's what people think. But like, what if their dad just died? Like, oh, sorry. So what if something like that happened that day, and you're like, you have a lot of positive energy, like I'm gonna make their day, I'm gonna talk to someone, have a good day, and they just like don't want to talk to you.
I do that all the time.
They just realize that it's nothing personal. They just don't want to connect. Or maybe that they have some insecurities or some issues around connection, and it's not your job to fix them. Like, what value do you bring to your friendships? Like, what is it that, like, are you the person that makes everyone laugh? Or, like, maybe you're really good at getting people out of their shell. But I think there's something that we're all really good at socially, and just
your own personal magic.
Yeah, your own personal magic. But yeah, exactly. And
Thanks, Nate.
And that's the value that you can bring to any situation. I remember like 4 years ago, I just had a moment. I asked my friends, I'm like, what do I, like, why do you guys hang out with me? No, honestly, I started, yeah, like, usually for me, it was always in my head. I had that conversation with myself 4 years ago, and then I opened it up to my good friends. Why do you guys hang out with me? Like, what do I do? And I just started to see over and over that I provide really good emotional understanding, and it happened more when I understood that that's the value I provide socially. Now I can also provide a lot of other things socially, but that's the thing that I find that I can always tap into. And the cool thing is it's authentic, and I think if you can find the things that provide authenticity for yourself, that is your value. Right.
Yeah, like maybe fears you had before you started traveling.
Oh, yes.
And have they been proven true? Have they been disproven? Like, how has your experience been with those fears?
Cool, yes. I would say I had a lot of fears around traveling, especially the way that I was doing it. What I realized is I didn't want my fear to prevent me from experiencing what I was experiencing. I think the thing that was the scariest for me is unexpected things that you don't know how to handle. So I was traveling over the Rockies, and I traveled over the Rockies during the summer, and then I traveled over the Rockies during the winter, like basically from Denver to Salt Lake City, and you cross over the Rockies twice. And I was crossing over in the wintertime in a Honda Civic with semi-bald tires, and it didn't say like, hey, like, you need to have tires, like the warning sign for like chains and tires wasn't on. It said it was totally fine. And these are things that were not fine. No joke. I was driving over, and it was during night, and the weather got really bad, and there was no one on the road except for me. I'm gonna be honest, it was terrifying. Like, it was really scary. But the thing is I'm like, well, I'm just gonna take my time, and I'm gonna be patient, and I'm just gonna I trust myself a lot, and so I'm just gonna trust myself. And I'm not gonna lie, it was very stressful. So I did that. I crossed over. I had to pee the entire time. And so when I got into town, I bought new tires, and I got my alignment fixed because I don't want to deal with that. And the next time I was in a situation that it might snow, I bring chains. Like, these are things you learn, and I think that was the thing, is like, you can't know the things that are going to cause you issues.
I like what you said about you just had to trust yourself, because that's something I've found too with traveling and unexpected things happening. Like, it's made me learn to trust myself.
So I'd say in those times, something that I remind myself of, and it really works, is I'm like, I really love like Lord of the Rings and like fantasy stories. So I remind myself, when I was traveling to the mountains, I realized like, hey, this is beautiful and dangerous at the same time. I'm like a hobbit, and I'm crossing, I'm like in the Fellowship of the Ring, and I'm crossing over, and the weather's Sauron.
That's so interesting.
Or Saruman. Yeah, and like, I am just living a part of my journey that's a little scarier right now. And I'm, once again, obviously the Fellowship wasn't like, oh, lightning bolts coming down and like orcs attacking us, it's great. But like, if you make it, you have a story out of that. And that's how these stories happen. And then also understanding that's part of life. I think we live a very like relaxed lifestyle, but I think that's part of life. Life is sometimes scary. People see me just going up to people and talking to people. I'm not comfortable when I do that. Like, I'm comfortable after I do it, but there's an awkward moment where you like realize like, I don't know this person, they don't know me, and I'm breaking some barriers, and that's gonna feel uncomfortable. I feel like pain is unavoidable, and I feel like fear is unavoidable, but you can conquer it in spite of that. So I'd say if like traveling is interesting to you, you're never going to be ready. I had 6.5 months of travel where I didn't really know how I was going to make money, and I'm still doing it. And I have experienced so much growth, so much personal growth, and seen so many beautiful things. And it was so worth it.
That's so fun. Wait, tell me real fast so I can ask you.
I'm filming now.
It is?
Yeah.
We're really loving the vibe of this cafe. We done good. I think a lot of us have that longing to like do something that challenges us, and we really have to give our all and use our full brain and, you know, problem solve. I feel like I've experienced that more traveling.